Yeah.
Which was the thing I think most people are citing when they're talking about how they're being reminded of like the sweaty patient doom of like Sorcerer.
Sure.
Because it's like, oh shit, they're going to hit a bump in the car and this thing is just going to fucking blow and all these kids are going to, eradicate themselves.
And what's smart too is, like I said, when they show, I think it's the character Michael, who's the bomb quote unquote expert, it shows him nearly blowing himself up. So then when you get to the actual procedure of the thing and they're like carrying this giant tanker and or barrel and it has the bomb in it and like just like in Sorcerer, it's like there's one subtle thing that just goes off. This thing could blow up at any moment and kill all 8 of them. It creates just a natural tension and a natural kind of excitement and thrill to the otherwise, I guess, political movie that you're watching.
Yeah, well, I mean, like there is an overt danger to it, and formally, what it ends up kind of building to is that you are accruing the weight of the decision that they are making to put themselves in danger to serve this goal, and it is very much like, and it just chews through like one crazy suspense sequence after another where, the tires are being slashed, or that crazy part when they're trying to lift one of the explosives into the hole or whatever. And they have those straps that they're using to like pull it up on a pulley and the strap threads start like tearing and stuff like that.
And I like that there's even those like small dynamics between the characters where it's like Michael, who's so determined that at a certain point, it honestly seems a little bit self-destructive, not to himself and to the others around him, because when
his performance is one of the strongest in the movie. He's the guy. He's also the kid from The Revenant, and also that Jeff Barnaby Canadian Indigenous zombie film Blood Quantum. He was one of the main guys in that too. He's really good, honestly. I hope to see him in more stuff.
I agree. I think he's awesome. And in that sequence, he's like you said, the strap is like becoming undone. And his determination is causing him to go like, no, just keep going. We will get there. It won't snap before we lock it in and tie it up. It's fine. And then the other one, I think it's Sean, he's more like, no, it's snapping. It's going to break and something bad is going to happen and this thing could explode. And so you have, even as the procedure is going, these kind of like two clashing ways about going through that procedure, and that happens throughout the film, and it creates a lot of really interesting inner conflict, not just between the activists and the companies that they're going after, but between the activists themselves and how to go about it, because no one's a professional at this. You know what I mean? No one knows.
Exactly.
No one knows.
Everyone's just fucking figuring it out. Yeah. Well, in that way, the film's closest companion for me was Kelly Reichardt's Night Moves. I can't remember if you've seen that one yet or not, Jamie.
I don't think I have, actually.
That's the one with Jesse Eisenberg in it, and is also about a group of eco-terrorists. It's a really great film, and it very similarly adheres itself to the like very tough reality and the procedural of like how to pull off eco-terrorism. What's different about Reichardt's film is that she does opt for the more bleak, dispiriting kind of like moral compromise of like, and in a really interesting way where it's like, this, on some level, you are going to be compromising yourself by, being part of this crew who is, coming from all of these different backgrounds and trying to pull this thing off. And some of you guys are maybe going to have to, you're going to disagree about which laws that you're going to break and which, what things how far you're willing to go and all of that. But also you are morally compromising by just not doing anything and by just being part of a, system that is also killing these people, which is why, this one throws in all of the kind of sympathetic backgrounds that it tries to give the various characters. Like I think it's Ariella Bearer, who actually co-wrote the screenplay as well, who's the lead actress in the film. Like her motivation is that her mother died during an unexpected heat wave that was generated by climate change. I think there was another girl too who gets like
cancer, I believe.
Cancer. Yeah, because she's playing in like the acid rain next to, like one of the local oil fields and gets like leukemia. And then as Jamie was mentioning, Michael, the indigenous character, and Dwayne, who's more of like the blue collar Texas character, they both challenge, like they both have their own historical reasoning for challenging corporate seizure of land. And it's actually kind of an interesting sort of like cross section of being like, well, you know, we have farms, and for the indigenous character, like his land was literally taken. So it's like these two do have a uniting force of being like, fuck these companies that build these giant steel monstrosities that fucking poison us on our land. Yeah. And so it's interesting that despite all of these things that, in my opinion, as I think Jamie was saying, that it kind of does create contradictions or tensions between them. The thing that's interesting about the film is that the mission
human too. That's why I loved it. But continue.
It is, yeah, and the mission still unites them in that way, and that you can see them pushing through those differences to be like, we all kind of have a common enemy in here. It's very cinematically merging like a collective and a personal history at the same time, and trying to be like, how do we put these two things together, and how do we put the catharsis of it into this explosive barrel that they're fucking like carrying on their backs? Like, I don't know, it's really, really well done on like just a pure, sharp, like thriller level, as well as capturing this genuine sense of the rippling pain that climate disaster is kind of like affecting all of these characters. And it's so it just like, you could see a worse version of this where it's trying to say these ideas at more of a didactic remove from personal characters. And I'm just really glad that this movie didn't opt for that it was like, no, we do want to actually, you know, we want to show you some of the ugly.